Hi friends, so it's the first proper vlog being filmed completely in June, and as most of you know, June is Pride Month, or a lot of people call it the month of gay, which is why I'm a bit more fun and festive and different for this one, because I like wearing my unicorn onesie when it's cold, and it's cold outside, but also it has a rainbow mane. I don't know if you can see my mane. And it has a rainbow tail, but I'm not going to show you that because I'd have to stand up and I'm being lazy today. And I thought for the month of gay, why not be a bit more fun and yeah, just have fun with it. So for this first positivity segment relating to LGBTQAI+, I want to talk about kind of how we deal with realizing that the things that we were taught as a child aren't true or aren't accurate, and how to kind of let go of that. So obviously this phenomenon doesn't only exist around the LGBTQAI+ community, it can exist around all sorts of different things, but it's something I'm seeing a lot of with the whole Pride Month going on. So I'm of the millennial generation. I was born in 1995, which means that growing up I saw LGBTQAI+ kind of all around me, and it was becoming a much more normalized thing. It wasn't quite normal when I was younger. I do remember kind of, you know, my parents telling me like, oh, that's a gay couple, and it was still kind of a almost taboo thing to talk about. But as time's gone on and as I've kind of grown up, I've been able to see how this community is now allowed to kind of flourish and be more open and be louder with who they are. But it's not something I had throughout my childhood. So growing up, I only really had straight or gay or lesbian or bisexual, and that was kind of it. I had a vague understanding of transgender, but not really. The way I was explained was it was, for example, a man who liked dressing as a woman, which we know isn't really transgender. So obviously growing up and realizing that that's not what transgender means, or realizing that there's so much more than just gay, bi and straight, it was definitely hard at times to kind of reconcile that with what I'd been taught. When we grow up, we trust our parents 100%. If your parent tells you something, you're going to believe them because they're your parent and they don't have a reason to lie to you. So this means that as we grow up, and it's got nothing to do with our parents in that sense, especially with the LGBTQAI+ community, we're just getting a better understanding of it and a better scientific understanding of what's happening. And so over the last few years, we've been able to understand a lot more of all these differences in humans. So it's nothing to do with our parents trying to lie to us. It's just now as a society we have a greater understanding, but that means what we know now contradicts what we were taught. Realizing that a truth that we grew up with turns out to not be a truth can be really hard for some people. With the LGBTQAI+ community, it can be hard both for people who are straight and are trying to understand the world around them, but also for people who realize that they are one of these kind of lesser known monikers. So a good way to combat this, and as I say, this is a phenomenon that doesn't just happen within the LGBTQAI+ community, it can happen with anything, politics or religion or really anything. And the best thing to do when you realize that what you've been taught as a child and what you understand now are different is research. We tend to want to get annoyed with our parents and blame them for not teaching us enough, or annoyed with ourselves because we were so blind to things, but it's no one's fault. What you can do though is research and maybe look into educating your parents on things that they may not be aware of. Through research, it's often also easier to be able to let go of some of the stuff you were taught that you realize now is not something you want to hold on to. Not wanting to hold on to something and actually letting it go are two very different things, and are both very difficult. When you want to let go of something that you were taught as a child that no longer represents how you feel now, it's really important to have a community around you. You likely already have friends and maybe even family members who think the same way you do, which isn't the way you were taught to think as a child. So lean on these people as you break away from that child you. Don't be ashamed that you're changing or that you're losing a part of your childhood. It's normal for us to mature and grow and learn new things and become a different person. Honestly, it'd be worrying if you thought the same way you do now as you did as a 5-year-old. She says in a unicorn onesie. What I mean by that is it's normal for our thought patterns to change and the things that we see around us to affect the way we think. As I say, I used to very happily believe that it was either straight, gay, lesbian or bi. And I remember as a relatively young teenager having arguments with people that these were the only labels we were allowed to have because that's all I was taught. Of course, now I look back and I'm kind of ashamed as to how close-minded I was. But I didn't know any better. It's only through research that I realized that I was wrong and there is more out there. And it's through leaning on my friends around me who thought in that new way that I was able to let go of my past. As I say, there's a tendency of blaming our parents or saying that they're stupid or they just don't understand anything or they're just typical baby boomers or Gen Xers or whatever generation your parents happen to be. But that's not going to help anybody. Your parents don't know any better. They didn't know better when they were educating you. And even if they did know better and chose to educate you in a certain way, they were doing what they thought was best for you. Here's a little thought experiment. Whether you already have kids or not, as long as it's kind of something you're planning on, you can kind of do this thought experiment. But think of what you'd want to educate your children about the LGBTQA+ community. What would you want to teach them? You probably have all these idealistic views, and that's great. Teach them as much as you feel comfortable teaching your children. But be aware that in 20, 30 or 40 years, we're going to have a much greater understanding than we do now. Which means that your children will be coming home and explaining to you that you were wrong when you said X, Y, or Z, and this is what they've learned. That's exactly what's going on. You, as the newer generation, just have a greater understanding than the previous generation. It's got nothing to do with millennials being better than boomers or anything like that. That's just life. Our parents' generation knew more than our grandparents' generation, and so on and so forth. As generations go on, as society keeps moving forward, as science and understanding keeps moving forward, we just know more than we used to. Don't blame your parents for teaching you something that now doesn't make sense or seems off. Use this opportunity to help educate them so that they can understand the world around them. Also bear in mind with this, however hard it is for you to let go of what you were taught, it's going to be harder for them. Because not only is this something that they were potentially taught, but this is also something that they learned through their own research when they were younger. This is something that they felt as strongly about as you feel strongly about this, and they chose to teach that to their children as something important. So it might be harder for some people to let go of some of the things they learnt. They may never let go of some of the things they learnt. But as the newer generation, you can take this opportunity to better yourself. Letting go of the things that we were taught that we now see as wrong is extremely difficult, as I said, if you're doing it alone. Make sure you're not doing it alone. Even if you don't think that you have friends who think the same way you do, you probably do. Honestly, we're all online. You guys are watching a video on the internet right now. And the person that you're watching right now is part of the LGBTQAI+ community. I'm in the plus. So you do know people who understand what you're going through and potentially think the same way you do. Maybe none of your real life friends think that way, or maybe you don't think any of them think that way, but you will find people around you who think the way you do, who are more than willing and able to support you as you let go of your old thinking system to embrace your newer one. I hope that you liked my little unicorn onesie, because I like it. As I say, I wear it a lot when it's cold, and it's winter right now for us in Australia, so it's cold. So we decided to watch the Disney animated version of Aladdin because we're going to go see the live action version in a couple days, and Ben paused it at some point, and you know the rule, never pause a Disney movie. What did you do, Ben? What did you do to the Sultan? What have you done? And for those of you watching, yes, we've been laughing about this for a good 5 minutes. Nelly, don't lick the camera. Don't. Nelly. Nelly, do you want to be on camera?
Wait.
And then he's ready to continue the show. Movie, whatever it is. She likes watching animated things. She's actually asking for us to put it back, right? Back to the movie. Ben?
Yes.
What would you say is your favorite Disney movie?
Aladdin?
What are we gonna go see today?
Aladdin.
Yeah, are you excited?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm excited too. Are you, like, worried about it at all?
No.
Nanny,
Wanna
stop
see?
bapping the camera, please. I am very excited. As you can tell, I am wearing my Aladdin t-shirt. This should be really good. So far I've really enjoyed a lot of the live action remakes. So it should be really good. You are not going with us. Whoop. So we've just come back from the movies. I'm not going to tell you guys what I thought or anything, because I know a lot of people like to go into movies with no expectations and a clean slate. But what I will tell you guys is while we were there, we bought the collectible cup and popcorn tin that a lot of cinemas do for these like big movies that come out, and I want to show you guys what we got. So this is the cup. So it says Disney Aladdin on it, and it's from Village Cinema because that's the cinema we went to. It's just really cool. It's got like sparkles in it, and it's got like facets on the top, they're actual facets, and then in the like glass portion it just looks like facets. So that's really cool. But then the coolest thing that we got is this popcorn tin. So it looks like a book. So it stand up like so. And that's the front of it. And then that's the back. So it's really ornate with loads of blues and golds like the movie. And the papers are nice and gold, but you can actually open it. And it has popcorn. Well, it doesn't anymore because I ate the popcorn. But it's supposed to have popcorn inside. So that's what we got as the little collectibles to go with this movie. I finally went to the hairdressers today. I really needed to go a few weeks ago, really. But, you know, I didn't. But I finally went today and got my head shaved again. And definitely got this cut a bit shorter and lighter. What do you guys think? I still really like this style. And it's definitely going to stick around for a while. But what do you think? So it's a lovely day today. It's almost 20 degrees Celsius, which is quite a bit warmer than it should be at this time of year, but it's lovely to have some sun and heat again. And Ben and I are going to go to the craft store to get a few canvases because a friend of ours is going to have a baby soon, so we're going to paint something for the nursery. So after running a few other errands, we are finally home from the craft store. I'm tired. And I got my canvases. So I actually did get 2 just in case. Just in case I mess up or I want to redo one or I'm not happy with it. And if I am happy with it, then I have an extra canvas for myself. So it's now Sunday evening. We've already had dinner and everything. And I'm really excited because this weekend, both Saturday and Sunday night, I'm doing Google Hangouts with my Discord server, Bubblers. So I already had one, say, last night because tonight's Sunday and they were Saturday and Sunday. And it was a lot of fun. It went really well. We did have some technical difficulties, but overall it went really well and it was so much fun. So I'm really looking forward to tonight. I'm really excited. I hope it will be fun. I'm sure it will. I don't know why I'm saying I hope, because it normally is. If any of you have ever participated in group video calls like that, you know that it is a lot of fun. So that's what I'm doing tonight. Other than that, though, there's no real news. Yeah, the weather's getting a bit warmer today. Was getting warmer today. It is going to go back to being a bit cooler, though, which is not going to be as nice. But I enjoyed the sun today. Yeah, that's all from me. So until next time, bye.